The SEO Sales Call Bootcamp just wrapped, and we spent over 15 hours together across 9 sessions explaining exactly how to close higher ticket SEO deals. In this video, I'm going to try to share the best nuggets of wisdom that we got from this session, and just know that the replays are available inside of the Academy in case you want to grow and learn. And you might be wondering, what's the point of this Sales Call Bootcamp? Well, before I started to do all of this, I was still living life in feast or famine. I would get a website project, make a couple dollars off of that, then have to wait for the next one. Sure, I had a couple $100s in MRR through maintenance packages, but does that really pay the bills? But then I started to sell SEO, but it was hard to say the big numbers. I didn't have the confidence yet. And I hear this from my students all the time. I've now coached hundreds of web designers on how to start offering local SEO. And there's currently about 100 people in the Academy going through the same struggle, but they're overcoming it with confidence. If you've been watching our recent success story series, Johnny mentioned confidence. Alyssa mentioned confidence. Alexia, 5K MRR, mentioned confidence, building a team, left her job. Juliana, taking the summer off from building websites because of her recurring revenue from SEO, talked about confidence. If you have the confidence and the competence, you will show up more effectively on the sales calls, be able to charge more. But so many people are remaining broke. If you are a broke web designer, my goal is to make it so you are unbroke. And I'm not doing this from some like capitalistic gain. This is because I want you to make the amount of money you deserve. You're providing value to these people. You are not checking boxes and providing deliverables. You have the power to take somebody from where they're at right now to somewhere completely different. That's the kind of concept we're trying to cover in this video. So if you're willing to take a little bit of a journey with me, let's get into it. By the way, and this is completely crazy, but I give away this entire module for free in this video. First link in the description, I'm giving you this entire module. I want you to be better at the sales call, not as some ploy to get you in the Academy later. Sure, I want to work with you. I want to be your SEO coach. But here's the thing. I want you to close more deals and I want you to charge more money. Okay. So I'm giving you the whole thing. In here, every single one links to the sales call script. You have my script now. You have the exact framework where I break down the methodology behind each step. All right. The way you could take it one step further is to watch that replay so you can see how you can practice this. But what you really need is the whole sales engine, which is what we talk about in this course. But one step at a time, Sam, I just want to get you better at the sales call. So let's get into it. Why do web designers undercharge for SEO in the first place? The first SEO course I ever took was Josh Hall's SEO course, actually. And I love this course. This was the foundation of all of my SEO journey. And so just so much gratitude to Josh for having this course. But let's just look at what he talks about in this course, because this is indicative of most SEO courses. And just to be clear, I'm not talking smack about Josh here. I'm just saying that most SEO courses stay in the warm water. They don't dive deep and they don't explain necessarily the ongoing, besides at a conceptual level. And I'll get to why this is the problem here, but stick with me. And so he talks about, how do we make Google happy? Talks about tools, talks about planning and strategy, doing keyword research. These are all very important things to know. Then he starts to talk about, basically like on-page, how do you structure the site? That would be like, I like to call it the ideal sitemap. Then we're talking about on-page SEO. He's talking about internally linking. He has this really nice analogy of this tree that's always stuck with me. That was great. And then he's talking about probably featured snippets because it's an older class, but it's good. And then he talks about Google Search Console, which is an important thing to have. And then he talks about some ongoing strategies. But as you can see, it's 16 minutes. Right? Talks about offering SEO plans, 30 minutes. What if you want to offer an SEO plan for a year off of this? Again, not talking smack to Josh. He specifically made this course to add on top of somebody that's offering web design services. The reason why I believe a lot of web designers have a hard time charging more for SEO is because this is all they get. Most SEO courses are designed like this. Let me give you the warm water. Let me give you the foundations, because let's be real, SEO is a little bit of an art form. There are some things that aren't so deterministic as you start to get into a specific client's setup and their geographic range and all that stuff. When I went out, I spent hundreds, if not definitely thousands of dollars trying to find good SEO courses that I could follow so to actually learn anything. In Local SEO Academy, I actually talk about some of the places that I really liked where I did learn a thing or two about SEO, but I was still having to cobble information together to actually get something that I can turn into a repeatable process for clients over time that actually gets results. And so because people don't feel confident to offer ongoing local SEO services, they usually just offer one-offs. They'll do an SEO boost, or they'll offer SEO as an add-on when they're doing a website, but they don't want to manage SEO ongoing. You know how I know this? That was me Let me see if I could find one of my first business cards. Look at that. Too scared to even put my last name, let alone a picture of myself. But there it is, website growth, SEO. I knew it was a service that I needed to offer, but I had no idea how to offer it ongoing. And when people would ask me about it, they'd see this on my card. They'd be like, oh, you do SEO. That's cool. And I'd be like, oh, but I'm not really confident in it. Come back and talk to me about it later. Now I'm the SEO guy. How did that happen? Well, it's really not that crazy, and you can follow the same path. So again, the number one reason why people don't charge more for SEO is they don't have the foundation to build the confidence to feel like they can offer something that will actually get results for clients. If you want to get better at SEO, the first thing you have to do is you have to work on your own SEO. You are your first client. And you know what? I think we're going to do a challenge to repeat this process here, but we're going to do it a little bit later in the year. So make sure you're subscribed, follow along, because I think that's going to be a fun challenge. But in this video right here, I did a video series where I actually tried to get myself to rank #1. And let's look right now. If you search that keyword from oh so long ago, SEO Bend, Oregon, we skipped the ads. There we are, #1 in the map pack. Love to see that. And there we are, #2. Congrats to SEO Oregon for taking us down to the #1 spot. We will smite you during the challenge whenever that comes. I'm out for you. Watching you, dude. Watching you. But before I did this challenge to myself, I wasn't ranking at all. I think I was on like the 5th or 6th page. I actually lost ranking if you go back and watch those old videos. They're pretty funny. But the point is, I put the reps in. I did the work, and I took the theory and I put it to practice. And then I started to realize, oh, there's actually a system here. I can use this with my clients. And I did. Check out this video right here where we talked to George, one of our clients, and we explained not only our SEO process from a high level overview where I talk about the SEO strategy sprint, the build phase, and the care phase, the 3 phases that we do with all of our clients, but we also talk about some of the results. And by the way, that was within the first 12 months of working with George. We're now in our 3rd year of working with George, and our man is crushing it. And the results just keep coming in, and it makes it easier and easier for me to charge those bigger numbers. But that doesn't always make it easy to say the bigger number. Because if you go back and listen to some of the stuff, the original price I quoted George as my first SEO client wasn't that big. So how did I get to charging more money? This is the mindset shift. This is the 3rd piece of the puzzle. You have to have a paradigm shift where you are not somebody on Fiverr that's doing a race to the bottom, trying to charge as little as possible for ongoing SEO services. No, you must get unscared and you must start charging what you're actually worth. You are not selling SEO, my friends. No, you are selling the delta. That's what I talked about in that talk back in Columbus about a little over a year ago. And I probably wasn't at the point where I should be doing that. And obviously I should buy sweaters that are bigger because this one was no longer fitting. But that's not the point. The point is you don't need to win on the deliverable sheet. If you've ever gone to Upwork or Fiverr, you'll see people say that I do this for your business. And they have a list of their deliverables, and then they get compared deliverable list next to deliverable list. We need to break out of that cycle. That's what I talk about in the sales script. Once we get past the pleasantries at the start, I want to start learning about their business. It's so important to know, why are you doing roofing? Why roofs? Why towing? Why whatever it is? And this is what's going to change the game, okay? This is going to change your normal discovery call to an actual sales call. And they're going to see that you're actually trying to figure out what's the point of their business on a whole nother level that they've never even thought about before in one of these calls where people are saying like, well, what are your goals for your marketing? That's not the point. The point is, how do we grow this business to grow the wealth that will someday hopefully pay for their kids' college or make it so they can retire before the age of 60. The key is that people will only buy from people they know, like, and trust. They already know you or they wouldn't be on this call. Especially most of the people on this channel, you're not doing cold calling. If you want to talk about that later, I got some content on that coming down the pipeline. But there's a good chance this person came to you. So they know you. They probably got on this call because they like you. Maybe you did something like my SEO strategy video to help you get on this call. And now you got to build that trust. And so what we do is we ask them very kindly to basically tell us, how much money did you make last year? And how much money do you want to make next year? Now you might be like, Sam, that's such a cold question. I can't ask that to somebody. That's so personal. Yeah, but you're also a consultant. And the thing is, if you're a marketing consultant, you become privy to this kind of information because this is the key, folks. You want to figure out where they're at and where they want to be. This is the number they're at right now. This is the number they want to be. The difference is the delta. If you don't remember, the little triangle symbol in math means change. It means difference. And that little triangle, the delta in Greek, I believe, is exactly what we want to figure out. That's right. Delta, Greek. Yeah, sororities, you know. I'm not going to bore you with the whole sales call script. I'm giving you access to it. You can dig in. There's like an hour's worth of content. Check it out. If you actually want to sell more this year, if you want to sell bigger packages, go. I'm giving it to you for free. I want you to sell, okay? That's why I'm giving it away. Go through the course and you'll see the point is not to actually talk about the deliverables or talk about the way you've perfectly crafted your offer, and don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of having great offers. Obviously, if it's sitting on my desk, I've been reading it recently, but it's not all about having this perfect offer. It's about selling the delta, letting people see where they're at, where they need to be, and know that you're going to help them on that journey. If you can do that, if they can see that you can help them on the journey, and like I like to say, if it makes dollars, then it'll make sense, then you're okay. This is how you start charging more. I remember the very first time I used this process, it was actually a client who came through from our own SEO. But we had a conversation and we started talking. They said, how much is it going to be? And at that time, I'd never charged $1,000 per month and I never asked for a 12-month commitment. But that's exactly what I asked for. And you know what they said? They said yes. And that was the first of dozens of clients that we've closed with this exact same framework. And it's helped increase our MRR from barely 5K to 10K to 15K to 20K. You see what I'm saying? Remember when it was feast or famine? Remember it was just a couple $100s a month that could barely pay for the rent? Now it's paying for payroll. That's the difference. That's what I want for you. Again, it's not for some kind of greed or want for more. No, it's because I can tell inside of you, just like me, you have this passion for service, for helping people, for actually having an impact in your community or with these people that become your clients. And you can do that. I believe that for the vast majority of our clients, yeah, sure, maybe we've missed the mark on one or two, but for the vast majority of our clients, we provided them with results where they end up with these really awesome websites. More people have come to the website due to the efforts that we've done, and their businesses have been better for that. And that's really cool. You can have this exact same outcome. How? First off, you need a process. Okay. This is exactly what we teach in Local SEO Academy. We tell you everything you need to do for the first year of an SEO client. And if you're like, what do I do after that? Well, let's cover that first base. But just so you know, in the next couple months, we're going to drop the second version of this course, and it's going to cover all of this and more. So strap in. It's going to be awesome. And if you're wondering but I don't really know the basics yet, well, don't worry. If you need to go over the foundations of Google Business Profiles or local SEO in general, or even local GEO, which are things like AI visibility for local service providers, don't worry. We have all that stuff covered in the Academy as well. But the last thing I want you to take away is that while the confidence will help you, remember our success stories, every single person mentioned confidence. I think going through our courses will build that confidence. I don't care about any of that. I don't want your money today. I want you to go to the sales call module. First link in the description. It's free, and I want you to watch every single one of those lessons and to start to see what a sales call can look like that can turn into high value for not just you, not just for this business you're building, not a job anymore. You're not going to be broke anymore. You're going to have a business and not a job, but also for your clients. How will this turn into results for your clients? Because we don't want to have to do sales all the time. I don't want to have to do sales all the time. You're probably in the same boat as me if you're watching this channel. What if you only needed a handful of clients? What if you only needed a small team? Maybe right now you don't even think you need a team, but you don't want to be the one that has to do everything in your team. Give yourself the permission to be wrong about a couple things. I thought I was just going to build websites and it was just going to be me. Eventually I started offering SEO. Eventually I started to build a team, and now they do the vast majority of the work, and it's been amazing. And now I have this freedom where I get to teach you about these things while also still getting to check in on my agency, make sure we're still providing kick-ass results for our clients. All I'm hoping is that this video is catching one person. Maybe it's you. You're at this point in the video where you're like, well, what now? Well, if you're thinking in your mind, SEO should be this thing that you do if it's nice at the end of a website build, or if it's this add-on package, this boost that you do in the months after you launch your initial, 5-7 page website, I'm talking to you. If you think that SEO is something that you can't charge more than $350 a month for, I'm talking to you, okay? Here's what I want you to do. First link in the description, you're going to make an account for the Academy, and you're going to get access to the SEO sales call module. The way it's going to look is you're not going to have access to the community. You're not going to have access to whatever bootcamp we're running at the time. You're not going to have access to the calls. All right. You're not going to have access to the courses either. You're just going to have access to this, the SEO sales call. And I want you to go through it. It takes about an hour all in if you watch them all at once. And I want you to just start thinking. Do you deserve to make $1,000 a month for SEO? Like if you could work with, let's say, a roofer in your area, and you can help them get let's say a $15,000 roof job, maybe just one per month, right? Just one extra roof per month. That's $180,000 per year. Do you think if you could get that for that client, that you deserve $12,000 a year for the help that you did, helping them get their website set up, those service pages, those location pages, getting their Google business profile dialed in, making the posts that show the activity to Google, they reward over time, getting the locally and the industry relevant links pointing back to their website. Do you think that work was worth just a fraction of the amount of money they made back? Yeah, probably. And do you think if you can get this roofing client, that maybe you can get a remodeler client the next month? And maybe you can get a physical therapy client the next month? And then maybe you could get a small law firm in your town. They just specialize in contracts, but it's perfect. And then maybe now that you're starting to get results for those first clients, that you can get an electrician, and then you can get a windows treatment company, and then you can get an acupuncturist. And by the end of the year, you've only gotten 12 clients. But think about this. What's 1,000 times 12? That's 12,000. So let's just do the math off camera right now. 12,000 times 12 is $144,000. And of course, you're going to do some websites along the way. You might do some other one-offs, some hourly work. And so we're talking well over $150,000. But a lot of talking heads like me don't break down the math. That number doesn't hit all at once. But if you're getting everybody on a 12-month commitment, by the end of that time, you have 12K MRR and all those people are locked in. If you provided good results, I bet most of those clients don't leave. Our churn rate is so low, it's in the single-digit percentages. This is the exact kind of customer service we teach in the academy and that you can have for your little micro agency as well. And yeah, I have kind of a bigger team than I probably need, but you don't have to build it like me. I love teaching all of the mistakes I made along the way, so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. And I like to think of them more as happy accidents that made it so I had more lessons that I could teach you. And I love my team right now. I think we have the perfect size team for where we're at, and I'm looking forward to taking on our next wave of clients and serving them in an amazing fashion and continuing to serve our current clients that we have in an even better fashion as we learn more about things like local GEO moving forward. What's the point of this video, Sam? You may be wondering. Well, we did this local sales call bootcamp, and I was really hoping like 100 people would sign up. And I knew not that many people would show up to the lives, but you know, we had like 4 or 5, 6 people showing up on the live sessions. And there's this book I really love called The Gap and the Gain. And when you're living in the gap, you're comparing yourself to others or this ideal you set. So this ideal I set was that, 100 people would sign up for the boot camp. And the gain is the opposite. You're basically, you're comparing yourself to your past self. And I think about, everybody that showed up for all of those calls. They practice each level of the sales call the way I teach it. And as our little boot camp went along, those 15 hours together, a lot of time actually, I watched them build the confidence on the sales call. And these are people that have already been through the prereq courses, so they're building the confidence of how to actually do SEO for their clients and deliver results. And so, I'm choosing to live in the gain. So even though not that many people went through the boot camp, I see that value. That's why I posted the replays. I want people to be able to practice that over time. The bottom line is you don't need to show up to a live boot camp to get better at the sales call, but you need to practice, practice, practice. The point is that I'm excited. I'm excited for more people to sell higher ticket SEO because I think that over the next couple of years, people are going to start offering just the worst version of SEO using Claude and ChatGPT to create these generic strategies that are not actually going to be effective for local service providers. And also, local service providers aren't going anywhere. If anything, they're going to have more competition as more people go into the trade. So I think this is an amazing industry to get into. So maybe you just got laid off from your tech job and you're trying to figure out what to get into. This could be your industry for the next 10 to 20 years. Who knows? But the algorithms might change. The search engines might diversify. That doesn't change the game. We're just trying to get local service providers recommended to their local community. That's all. Look, I know I got a little rambly in this video. If you came up with any questions along the way, any feedback, any thoughts, I want you to drop a comment. Just say something. If you made it this far in the video, just let me know you're here. Tell me what you heard. Tell me what you're feeling. I'm giving away the sales call module because I want you to get some sales this year. Make me a deal. If I give you the sales call module and you actually close a deal and now you're panicking because you don't know what to do, well, the first thing you can do is you can check out our onboarding video right here. So that way you at least know what your next steps are. But I'm going to encourage you to check out the second link in the description because I'm going to just leave a link to our best deal. It's always going to be there. It's going to get more expensive as the year goes on. And so the earlier you get in, the better. But I'm just going to leave a deal where you can get a little bit of money off your first month of the academy because I'd love to be your SEO coach. I'd love you to join my friends in the academy. Our community is great. We have a weekly call where you can bring up client issues every single week. And we also have our forum where you can ask questions and all the courses live there. Obviously, that's what I'd love for you to do. But again, right now, I just want you to sell that next client. So first link in the description. Get the sales call module, learn about the theory behind each level. That way the script becomes a tool and not a crutch. And I wish you the best of luck. Of course, that sales script's not very useful if you don't have leads. So if you're looking for my favorite way to get leads in 2026 and 2027, check out this video. I'll catch you in that one.